Welcome to the Movers Resource Guide podcast, connecting you to the resources you need to create success. We chat with the best vendors, associations, mentors, movers, and more, giving you the information you need to make your moving company the best it can be. I'm your host, Brian Hassan, CEO of Wayfinder Moving Services in Buffalo, New York, Apex Moving and Storage in Lakewood, Washington, and the president of the New York State Movers Association. Today, we have as our guest Kyle Pearson of Pearson Moving and Storage in Mesa, Arizona. Kyle's had some recent success with posting on Instagram and getting leads and booking work through what he's doing on Instagram that he can really directly associate with his work in Instagram. He's been pretty successful with that, and today he's going to come on and share his successes with us, and so we can do that on our own. So let's get over to Kyle and our conversation. It was a lot of fun. It had some good stories in there. Hopefully you'll gain as much out of this one as I did. All right, welcome, Kyle, to the Movers Resource Guide podcast. We're glad to have you here. You're our first guinea pig for now stepping into the video side of showing some viewers a video at least. We wanted to walk before we ran, so we started off with just audio. Now we're kicking in the video, despite how much I talk to my team about how I have a radio voice and a radio face. They still wanted to do a video podcast, so here we are. But so welcome. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Brian. I'm super excited to be on board here today, and look forward to speaking to the audience and giving them tips and tricks and everything about the trade.
Excellent. So I heard you speak, maybe a month ago now, and I thought, man, it'd be great to get you on the podcast and share it to a broader audience, or hopefully a broader audience. But you were talking about, you've had some really great success as a mover with Instagram, and it's been very effective for you. And, I think a lot of movers are struggling right now. The economy, isn't necessarily down as a whole, but is certainly down for movers. So trying to give them some resources that can help them stand out a little bit and maybe broaden their scope of inbound leads. So to kick us off here, I guess I'll pass it off to you. So, how did you start this journey?
Absolutely. So you nailed it. In the last 12 months, the moving industry as a whole has been tracking about 30% down as far as top line revenue goes. And I think every market is going to be different. Some markets have been hit harder than others, but for the most part, the moving industry has seen a downturn the last 12 months. And because of that, we're fighters, right? We're in business to win. We're not in business to just roll over and die. And we've been lucky. The Phoenix, Arizona market is still a decent market. We still have a lot of people moving in. But with that being said, it wasn't the low-hanging fruit that COVID provided. And so with that, it's forced us to find new marketing channels. And when you don't have the extreme budget that the COVID revenue was bringing in, we went back to the basics. And as far as our entire scope of marketing budget and marketing strategy goes, we're heavily invested on Google. We've done print marketing. We're in our community. We're doing just about everything that the industry has traditionally done. I believe that moving is more or less an old man's game. And I believe at the turn of 2020, we saw a lot of the older companies closing. You have the generational movers, right? Fathers are passing the businesses down to their sons. I know you've seen a lot of that, especially in your neck of the woods, because you guys have those 100-year-old moving companies, right? Well, business is the new game, and there's a lot the way society is connecting with businesses. If you would have asked someone 20 years ago that customers would be like texting into a phone number to get a quote, I don't think a lot of the successful business owners at that time would have agreed with that. And now we're using social media to book $20,000 jobs, it's just a different game. And so we went back to the basics, and we're like, we're going to use this free channel of Instagram that everyone in the country seems to be on, and we're going to master it. So we took a crash course as far as learning the Instagram goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's been, I've been in the industry for 12, 13 years now, and the number of old school 100-year-old businesses that just aren't making it anymore. This industry, when I first got into it a dozen years ago or so, was very archaic, very old hat. Just they were still doing things the way they had always done them for the most part. And over the last dozen years, it's been incredible how much turnover and how much change and how much technology has now come into our industry. And the companies that can't keep pace with that are definitely going by the wayside, and they're going there quickly. So it's been very interesting to watch. So I think you hit the nail on the head there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, so you kind of took a crash course on Instagram. And what did you learn there?
So I wanted to model myself off of those in business that were currently winning, being successful, and those just around me in my community. So I was lucky enough to team up. With some real big power partners and players in our neighborhood that have been successful in the home service industry. And I was watching them and I was like, how did I even find out about these guys? As if I was a consumer for their business, how did I find out about these guys? And it hit me. I'm sitting on the couch, I'm scrolling Instagram, and they're just all over it. They're posting so many times per day, the different stories, the reels, the pictures. It's just they're tagging everyone they know. And I used to want to hide on social media, right? I'm a father, I'm married. I wanted to keep my private life private. And so I never commingled the two. We always had our company Instagram page. We made it a habit to post 3 to 5 times per week, just a photo, right? They were company photos. They weren't stock photos, but that was it. We just did it to have a presence. We didn't use it as an actual tool. And as what I had saw was, some of these mentors I look up to and do business with, was they created their own personal brand. Although it was tied to their true business and their revenue maker, they used their personal brand to bring people in, right? You have people like Grant Cardone. A lot of people can't tell you Grant Cardone's business, but they can tell you who Grant Cardone is. And I was kind of reversing and re-engineering that same with moving. And I was like, how can I be the face of Pearson Moving and Storage and become that relationship, right, with people through the internet? Yeah. And so that's ultimately what I got started with. I started seeing what the other people were doing, and I hit it hard. It was March of this year. We were getting ready for busy season. We were coming out of a slow season. We weren't seeing our sales change at all. And I went all in. I was like, how can I get good at this?
Wow. That's you're braver than I am, because I'm like, socials, I do okay with it, you know what I mean? But just trying to dive in, and, it's a lot of time too, to invest in that. And I suppose the nice thing is you don't necessarily have to do it during the day while you're at work and while you're doing your other things. You can probably find time before or after, if you were really that tight on time to be working on that. Absolutely. So you kind of looked at the different marketing channels you had available to you, kind of discovered, hey, you know what? These people are really doing well on social media, maybe specifically Instagram. Where did that take you?
Absolutely. So we started from the bare bottom. Okay. So I created the page, started posting. The biggest thing that launched it into the success was following anyone and everyone with an account that would or has done business with a moving company. All right. So we have thousands and thousands of realtors here in the Phoenix area. We have loan officers, insurance agents. You have other home service brands. You have your roofers, your pest control companies, everyone who deals with a customer who might be moving. And so by following all of these accounts, it kind of got us in this, I'm going to call it the outer circle, okay? Because you're not in the inner circle. Yeah, you still got to work your way into
Right.
the inner circle, but it gets you into the outer circle, right? Which is your chance. And by networking with these individuals, you're just building rapport, okay? You're commenting on their posts, you're liking their posts, you're sharing their posts. I share multiple different types of people's stuff, whatever they're posting on a daily basis, to just, show them that, hey, I'm listening, I'm here, and I value what you're saying. I agree with it. It's good information that I think my followers should see. And so by doing that, I guess it's kind of the old school way of just complimenting someone, like in the hallway at school, right? Hey, I like your shoes, right? No one's going to turn down a compliment like that. And so by doing that in a social media sense, that has allowed us to now be a friend on, Instagram, and primarily Instagram, but all social media. And so by doing that now, it has allowed people to say, hey, I know a mover. Yeah, you need a good mover. Hey, I got this guy, Kyle, I talked to. Yeah, here's his link, right? And I think we're in a world now where we're sharing profiles, not as much as, or more than websites. And so I think that's been really successful for us.
Yeah. So, so you learned, you added, you connected with all these people, and now you start posting, and we'll get into the details of specifically what you did later, but, just to give us a little bit of a taste of the kind of success that you've seen in a short time with it. Yeah. How has that led to booked jobs and revenue for you?
Well, we have consistently been targeting about $20,000 to $25,000 extra revenue per month since March of this year that we started focusing on Instagram. And that is revenue tied to a free marketing channel, right? 25,000 isn't going to pay the bills. It's not going to, you can't create your business off of $25,000 per month, but in an economy that's down 30% and you're not spending marketing dollars to get that revenue, I mean, a small size moving company, I totally count that as a win. We're going to take every revenue that we can. Starting off, we hit a landmark. Starting off, it was our first 60 days of doing social media. I earmarked 50,000 in found revenue in the first 60 days. And I know for a fact that wouldn't have been revenue we would have seen if we wouldn't have jumped on that channel. Our largest, monumental job that we had received directly from social media, and I have a customer's audio recorded clip on a sales call that he specifically hired us for his move from California to Arizona. It was a 2-truck job. It was like an $18,000 move. He specifically says on the call that he found us because he had seen my Instagram content. He had no other connection. He wasn't a referral. It wasn't someone we knew, we had done business with. He lived in another state. He just happened to be moving to the state we were moving to and had seen our Instagram. And that alone created that relationship and that rapport as, hey, Pearson Moving is the real deal. We want to hire them for our long distance move. Obviously, as you know, in the long distance field, there's been such a bad rapport and reputation of shady movers and brokers, and so much that can go wrong on interstate moves. We want to put a face to our name and show people and be goofy sometimes and show people that we're just real humans doing honest work, and we'd love to earn your business, and this is how we do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a great kickoff start. And like you said, $25,000 a month is not going to necessarily feed your family, but I think we would all right now love to have an extra $25,000 a month in revenue, because that would make depending on the size of your business, but I would imagine most movers an extra 25 grand a month would make a huge difference in how their business success is doing, because you're talking $300,000 a year, so that's a
right.
That's a decent amount of money. You're just a little bit of your time, right? So.
Yep. Exactly right. Yeah.
Well, cool. So we've got the start here. We got the little teaser of how you're doing with it. We'll get into the specifics of exactly what you're doing on a regular basis, but I guess maybe now's a good time to take a little bit of a break. A good pause point here. We like to have a funny or crazy story in the moving industry so we can all laugh and cry together. So what have you queued up for us today?
All right. Well, I'd like to share a story that I'm sure many other movers can relate to. And so everyone knew how hard it was to get new trucks during COVID, and prices shot up, and you're waiting on factories, and just the whole mess we went through. Well, our company was experiencing growth. I was revisiting our financial plan as far as turning assets over and everything of that sort. So we had placed an order end of 2021, beginning of 2022, it was right around New Year's. We wanted to order 2 new trucks for our fleet, and we ordered them brand new from the factory. I wanted them built in a very specific way. We wanted liftgate ramp combos. We wanted a specific box. They were going to be my trucks. They were exactly what I had wanted. It was the first time in our company's history that we had actually gone to a manufacturer and ordered brand new trucks. And so we placed an order with Ford, and we had 2 brand new F-650s built. Now, of course, there were delays. Even in 2022, there were delays. And eventually our pickup date was going to be middle of August. So this was about a year ago, just over a year ago. The trucks were finished at the plant in Ohio, and we had done business with the dealer just like 20 minutes away from the manufacturer. So there was literally 0 miles on these trucks. They just went right up the road where we picked them up. We flew our driver out. He was a good dude. He had been with the company. Obviously, if I'm sending him out there, I wanted to send out a good dude to pick up our brand new trucks. And we were going to do one truck at a time. So we fly out our guy, and he lands at the dealership. They pick him up and everything like that, just to walk around. Everything's perfect. He's driving home, and I get a file of photos. We have a company app that we use to communicate with, and he's driving on the road, and then I get a call. So it was like, it happened so fast. My phone lights up, and I get a group of photos, and a phone call is like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I just ran the first truck under a bridge." I was like, what do you mean? And he's just like, "Check your phone. I sent you photos." He felt bad. He's like, I peeled back the top. And although I had seen a lot in business, in the moving industry, we were approaching our 10-year mark in business, I had a little bit of an emotional attachment to these trucks. They're over $100,000. I had ordered them the way I wanted, and it was damaged. And I'm just like, we had never really filed like a true insurance claim or anything like that. And I was just like, what? And I was like, how do you hit a bridge? Because here in Phoenix, everything is 14 feet. Okay. We don't have any of those low hanging bridges or anything like that.
Yeah. You're so newly developed. You don't have those low bridges.
Yeah. And so he explains he had pulled off the highway to get fuel, and there was a low hanging bridge or whatnot. It must have been 11 and a half feet or something like that. And he went under, and I was angry, but I still had to put on my business owner, get stuff done type of face, right? Me laying on him at that time wasn't going to change anything. Like,
no,
what was I going to do, right? He already feels awful. We still have to get that truck home, right? So we're going through our checklist. Hey, is it drivable? What can we do and stuff? And the good news is it was drivable, so we were able to make the trip back and get it repaired. So it got repaired by mid-September, the first 30 days. We had picked up the second truck without incident, no problem there. Back to the first truck. This is where it started. The wound starts hurting. The first truck, 60 days after we had owned it, we sent a team on another long distance move, and they stayed at a hotel that didn't really have much parking. And the early hours of the following morning, they drove the truck around the building. Well, it happened to be a bank building that was next to the hotel. It had one of those drive-through ATM overhangs, and then a roundabout passed through on the side of it, and it was dark. And another driver just shredded the side of that same box, the same box that had been repaired and had already gone back to looking brand new, and just clipped the side of the building and made a not intelligent decision when driving a truck. And so we now had our second damage on the same truck that I just bought, all within 60 days. And after getting through that and going back to our systems and processes and implementing new, mandatory driving procedures, and just it was a great learning moment for a moving company owner to, try to limit those in the future. I'm not going to say they're not going to happen again, because this is our industry.
Yeah, I mean, you own enough trucks, you're gonna have some issues, right? So, well, if it makes you feel any better, Kyle, we had a truck that hit a bridge in March. He was going 45 miles per hour. Very clearly marked 12 feet, 5 inches or 6 inches or whatever, and didn't even slow down and just railed that bridge. And it destroyed the box. We'll post a picture up of that too. It's just, I was out to dinner. I got the picture, and I'm just like, because it was in Seattle. So I'm on the East Coast, because I live in Buffalo, out to dinner with some friends shout out to Sheridan Brothers in Rochester. And we're out to dinner with our friends in the moving industry. And I get the text, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I showed our friend Mike, and he was like, when did that happen? I was like, just now, because it happened at our Seattle office. Anyways, the box is destroyed. So this happened in March. They totaled the truck. We're here recording at the end of September. I've still yet to get a check from the insurance company for that truck. And I won't name names to protect the guilty here, but we didn't get to use the truck all summer, and for a various number of reasons, like it's taken forever, and they still have not settled out that claim. It's just crazy. Like, serious, yeah. So you not only wrecked your truck, but claimed it, got it fixed quick enough to wreck it again within 60 days. So, there might be that silver lining for you, that at least you got to use the truck this summer.
I try to stay optimistic when possible.
So, all right. Well, hey, it's nice to hear everybody else's horror stories. So I appreciate that. So now after that, we can dive back in here. So let's go into specifically, what are you doing with Instagram that, what's your routine? What have you got going on with it that has led you to these successes?
So our primary focus has been the Reel, which is your video uploads to Instagram. And the reason is most of society is spending their time scrolling the comedy reels, the educational reels, and everything that pops up in their feed. And so by targeting our audience, by following realtors and insurance agents, loan officers, and the sorts, our reels are popping up in those feeds. And that's exactly who we want to be seen in front of. Is we're providing comedy in the industry, we're providing education, and that's what's gaining the most traction. It's also kind of a spyglass into who we are as a company and the guys who work for us, which is just really good at building rapport. So when we create reels, we do a plethora of different types of content. We try to become,
Okay.
eh, we try to show our audience that we are the authority figure in our space, which helps them when they decide to hire a mover. They can see that, hey, these guys know what they're doing. They're good. Um, the other thing is we're just trying to broadcast are the types of guys who work for us because that's always a wild card in the moving industry. We want to show the clean cut
Yeah.
faces and the hard workers and really put a face to the brand. And so as we focus on reels, the good thing about the reel is we can share it over and over again, right? You create the reel and now it's showing up in those followers feeds, but it's also being shown to non-followers. You can share it to your story. Someone else can share it to their story. Someone else can share it to their story 4 months from now. The video I made 4 months ago, someone
Right.
can share it now and they can send it to their friends, and it's a never ending cycle of content, which is just awesome. And that's been so good for us. So
Yeah.
as we focus on the reel, that's been the largest takeaway. We're putting in the music, we're using the captions app, which just everyone's using that nowadays, but it just makes those reels look so much more professional and real. And so with that, that's exactly what that we've been doing.
Okay. Excellent. So you're putting all this content out there. You're doing the video, and I imagine you don't have a professional video person on staff or anything like that. So you're just getting content out there. It's better to. My assumption is it's better to get something out there than nothing, right?
That was one of the best pieces of advice that we were told, was getting any and all content. I used to spend a while editing videos and coming up with ideas and stuff until recently. I was like, we're just going to post it. Someone's going to give this 30 seconds of their time. They're not going to nitpick the splice. They're not going to nitpick the audio matchup. And nowadays, iPhones are recording in 4K, which is already better than what social media is putting out. So it's really just a no-brainer
Right.
on what it takes to just make a video.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So you're getting things out there. How often do you post? How often are you getting this content out there?
Yeah. So I try to post every single day, whether that's even stories or a photo post, a reel post. If I can make a reel every single day, that's a good week. Of course, life happens, so I try to blend it with other things. It doesn't take any time at all to go on Instagram, follow some new people, throw some comments up there, share some stories, and then maybe just dig a photo out from our photo album and post it. And if that's the lowest amount that I can get done for the day, it's still allowing us to pop up in other people's feeds. But the fun is in making a reel every day.
Yeah. So do you do that every day, or do you batch it and schedule it? And I don't know if there's a way to do that with Instagram or not, but do you batch the like okay, today I'm going to record 5 different reels in different situations, and then I'm good for the week and I can post one a day? Or do you actually do something every day?
Yeah, no, great question. So I make it into my office about 3 times a week, and I usually spend the first half of the day with my team on those days. And usually on those days, you'll see me grab our tripod, our microphone. I'll grab some of the guys and say we'll go make a few. We'll go make a few right then and there, so that I do have additional content to produce for the week. And then the other thing is just as I speak with other people, I have no shame now in saying, hey, I'm gonna record myself as I talk to you about this, because this is good content that I think my followers should see, and it can help someone. So I try to record anything and everything.
Excellent. So just even explaining to a guy how you do a particular thing or whatever, you just pick up the camera and record it.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Very cool. Okay, so any other things that you got more on the list for us there?
Well, we just started tapping into Facebook ads. I don't have any data or success for you on that yet because we just started about a week
Mhm.
ago. But we're really excited. We've had some friends in the moving industry in Houston that have had great success with Facebook ads, and in this industry, in this market, like we said, we're willing to try anything and everything right now to fight and still be a successful brand. So we're excited. I have high hopes for that. But maybe I'll check in
Okay.
with you in a couple months and let you know how that went.
Well, yeah, and maybe I might want to, and maybe I misunderstood this, but might want to bring you back and discuss how you get to the point where you only come into the office 3 days a week. Maybe you're out on the truck the other 2 days, but maybe that's a good topic for us. I'd like to learn about that one.
You know what? Various apps and checks and balances and systems and procedures has allowed me to live a fluid lifestyle of being at the office, not at the office, but still always working somehow.
Oh, for sure, for sure. No, that's great. So, cool. All right. Well, we're about out of time. Any other last nuggets of wisdom you have for us before we cut out?
Um, Try to laugh at anything in the moving industry. It's not for the faint of heart. It is a tough business. Only the strong do succeed. There's a lot of companies that do fall off after the 4 to 5 year mark. I can promise you, if you
Yeah.
can pass through that break, it is a successful industry to be a part of. But you got to have some fun with it. Otherwise, it's too tough, and you're gonna fold.
Yeah, it'll bury you with the stress that can happen here, right? So,
Yep.
all right. Well, very good. I really appreciate you coming on. I think that was very insightful and some good information for everyone and some things that we can do with Instagram. And hopefully we can have as much success as you. $25,000 a month, like you said, you can't feed your family on it. But as a little cherry on top, that would be
Yep.
fantastic for everybody right now. So really
Yeah.
thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming on and look forward to hopefully talking to you again some point in the future.
Absolutely, Brian. Thanks for having me on. Good luck here going into the fall, and let me know if I can do anything for you. Thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate Kyle for joining us. Hopefully you got something out of that conversation that you can use on your Instagram and can help you gain a little bit more followers and hopefully book some moves. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, send us an email at moversresourceguide@gmail.com. Once again, I'm Brian Hassan. I hope you have a great day. Now get moving.